Hello everyone, this is Gitika Arora here. I hope you all are doing well while staying at home. In this lecture, we will be going to discuss about the concept of capital structure. This lecture is very much important and informative for the students who will be going to study about different theories of capital structure. So this lecture is the base which will be helping them for understanding the concepts or the different theories of capital structure afterwards. So in this lecture, we will be only understanding the meaning of capital structure. What do you mean by capital structure? What is the optimum capital structure? Why there is a need to study capital structure? Starting with the first part, that is the meaning of capital structure. Here I have given you a diagram which states that capital structure is equal to debt plus equity. It means capital structure is the mix of debt and equity. Now, what is the meaning of debt? Debt is basically the outsider's fund or the borrowed fund. It means that when you are financing your needs from outside, for example, if you want to invest rupees 1 lakh in a machine and you need money for that, and you are bringing that money inside the organization from debentures or from borrowing after borrowing from a financial institution, that is an example of debt. The another way the company can finance its needs of rupees 1 lakh by issuing some shares. That is an example of equity. That is the reason it is called as the insiders fund or the shareholders fund, because you are bringing that amount of money from your shareholders. Now the next question arises, what to pay to debt? It means what you are supposed to pay to the outsiders of the fund or to the people who are giving you the fund from outside. The answer is you have to pay them annual interest. That is, you are just paying them some amount of money annually after every year. Next is what you have to pay to the equity, means what you have to pay to the equity shareholders. Here also, if they people are giving you money, they are expecting some amount of return from you as well. And thus the amount of money that is a part which is available to you after paying everything, means after paying all amount of taxes, every expense, you are left with some amount of profit, and from that part you will be paying them some amount, that is the dividend only. So thus for the debt you have to pay them annual interest, and for the equity you have to pay them dividend. Now after this, you should know the difference between financial structure and the capital structure. Student, you should know one thing, that under financial structure, you are just trying to finance every need of the business with the help of every kind of source. Like here, you will be taking the short-term sources as well as the long-term sources. But for the capital structure, it deals with permanency. What do you mean by permanency? Here, you will be only and only taking the sources which are long term in nature, means which are permanent in nature. That is the reason for the financial structure you will be taking both short term and long term sources, but for the capital structure you will be taking only and only long term sources. Now the next question arises, that why there is a need to finance the needs of the organization from different sources, and why you people are not relying on only and only one source. The answer to this question is that every source of finance is having separate cost or a different cost. For example, if I am taking the example of equity, here you have to, when you have to issue the equity, there are so many expenses which are related to it. There are so much amount of documentation which is associated with it. There are share issue charges, and there are so many legal expenses as well. Thus there is a cost which is associated with the issue of equity, and even the issue of equity requires so much amount of time as well. But on the other hand, if you will be issuing the debentures, in that case, though the issue of debenture is not a very big task, or you are not required to pay so much amount of time over there, but when you are issuing the debentures, you have to pay the fixed annual charges. Means if you are issuing the debentures, you have to pay some amount of money annually, and no matter the organization is having the profit or not, but still you have to pay the charges. But on the other hand, if you are issuing the equity, in that case, there is no certain kind of this obligation is present. You have to pay the dividend only and only when the organization is having profit. Now that is the reason, but still you cannot state that the debt is more risky and the equity is less risky. Why there is a vice versa part over here? Because when you are issuing more and more amount of equity, in that case you people are diluting your ownership because you are giving your ownership to the shareholders. But on the other hand, for the debt part, this doesn't happen. That is the reason when you have to bring certain kind of source of capital inside the organization, you have to take into consideration all the pros and cons associated with it. That is the reason you people are studying this cost of capital or the capital structure part over here. Now here, what are the different examples of equity? Equity consists of equity shares which are the owners of the organization, then preference share which you can issue to anyone outside the organization. Apart from that, reserves and surplus are also a part of it. Means any amount of money which you are not distributing among the shareholders and you are reserving that money, that is also a part of equity. But on the other hand, what do the debt consist of? Debt consists of any acknowledgement like debentures you are issuing to the people, you are borrowing from any institution, and you are borrowing for a longer period of time. That is a part of debt. Now, why we people are studying this capital structure part, or what is the objective of this capital structure? Basically, you people are studying this capital structure because here you people are bringing amount of money inside the organization, and the important part is that you are bringing the amount of money inside the organization with the objective that you want to increase the earning per share of your shareholders, and on the other hand you people want to reduce the cost of capital in each and every circumstances. That is the reason I am here and I am giving you the detailed part of this capital structure, so that you will be able to choose a capital mix which will be helping the organization to increase its value. Value means you are trying to pay more and more to the shareholders and you are reducing the overall cost of capital. And this is the answer to the next question, that is optimum capital structure. Basically, what do you mean by optimum capital structure? The optimum capital structure is simply a mix, the mix which will be bestest for the company. Why this is bestest for the company? Because here you are using the debt and capital in a way that your earning available to the equity shareholder is maximum, and on the other hand the cost of capital is the minimum. That is the reason when the company is having the optimum capital structure, the shareholders will be benefiting the most. And now I will be concluding the whole concept of capital structure is that in a way that you cannot rely on debt financing. What is the meaning of debt financing? If you are financing every need of the organization by issue of debt. Why you cannot rely on debt financing? Because it is increasing the financial risk. Because you have to pay annual charges no matter you people are having profit or not. Next is, but why you cannot rely just upon the shares? Because obviously it will diluting the ownership. You are giving the ownership to more and more people, and thus it become very risky for the organization as well. Thus, there is a need arises for the organization to opt for an optimum capital structure with the objective that will be like increasing the value of the firm in a way that your overall cost of capital is decreasing and your income or the earning per share, your overall cost of capital should be less and your income or earning per share should be high. With this, I am just expecting that you all will be cleared with the concept of capital structure. In the next lecture I will be teaching you the various theories of capital structure. That is the reason in the very starting point of this lecture I have told you that you should know every aspect or the every basic part of capital structure. That is a part of this lecture. Thank you and stay tuned.